Next, the big show, the ceremony. For the ceremony, I use two cameras. I use, of course, the D300S because I almost always have it on during the day. And the important thing to remember is that I almost always turn off the flash during the ceremony. I usually get with whoever I need to get with, the officiant or whoever's running the show, to see if I'm even allowed to use flash during the ceremony. A lot of times, especially for religious ceremonies, you won't be allowed to use flash at all. However, for that reason, and also because I find the flash to be distracting to the bride and the groom and the officiant and the guests and everybody else, I typically don't use the flash during the ceremony. I just like to not even worry about it. So I will use my D300S with the 17 to 55 lens on it, excuse me, as well as my D2X with a 70 to 200 vibration reduction lens on it. And this lens allows me to really get in close. So I will be able to get some close-up shots of the bride and the groom down the aisle or wherever I might be without really intruding on the intimacy of the ceremony. So those are the two cameras that I use during the ceremony, and my assistant will be using the, kind of depends, but usually the D80 with the 18 to 200 lens on it will be what they're using. However, if we are in a low lighting situation, like a lot of churches are, they would use the D60 with a 55 or with a 50 millimeter lens on it, because it goes down to an f-stop of 1.8, so it at least allows you to maintain some sort of shutter speed in that dark situation. Next, we have the post-ceremony formal photos of the family with the bride and groom, or also the kind of lovey pictures with the bride and the groom just post-ceremony, either inside or outside. For those, I use, again, my D300S. That's what I'm using most of the time. That's what I'll be using while I'm doing these post-ceremony portraits. And then my assistant will be free to roam about doing kind of candid shots or environmental shots, probably using the D80 with the 18 to 200, but again, sometimes this 50 millimeter lens comes in handy, so sometimes they'll be using the D60 with the 50 millimeter lens. So after we have completed the ceremony and we've done all of our formal portraits, it's time to move on to the reception. And at the reception, you have kind of a wide range of things that you're taking pictures of. And they include people and kind of environmental shots and detail shots like the flowers and the tables and the favors that the bride and groom have put a lot of effort into choosing. So you want to get good pictures of them. So I will be carrying my D300S, surprise, surprise, for kind of the broader shots with the 17 to 55 lens on it, and then the little baby D60 with the 50 millimeter lens on it, because this is what's really good in those situations where I'm really wanting to get all of the details into a shot. As for my assistant, he or she will be using the D80 with the 18 to 200 lens on it. And something else I should note, with during the reception with this 17 to 55 lens on the D300S, it allows me a lot of versatility, because you get put into situations like the cake cutting, where you're kind of jockeying for position and you're shoehorned in between the guests who are all trying to get their snapshots in and the bride and groom and their table with their cake on it. So this lens allows me to get a sufficient width of angle without being, you know, too far away or too close in, really. And that's it for the wedding. Like I said, I like to carry really as little as possible, but the most important thing to me is being able to not worry about my cameras. Just knowing that this is the lens I put on this camera and this is the lens I put on this camera, and you know, I have specific assignments for each camera and I don't even have to think about it. I don't have to think about switching lenses or anything at all, because I know where everything is and I know what works for which camera and lens combination. So that's the most important thing that I would suggest to anybody who is going to shoot a wedding or really anything else, is just try to plan out ahead of time what your combinations are going to be and try and keep it as simple as possible. Let's see. That's it. If you have any questions about shooting a wedding, or really about anything else, of course, please let me know. You can contact me by emailing secrets@snapchick.com, or find me on Facebook. Just search for Snapchick. Thanks.